Hello everybody and welcome to today's review of Stillwater. It is the new film directed by Tom McCarthy starring Matt Damon and Abigail Breslin. In this film, Matt Damon plays an oil worker named Bill Baker. In the beginning of the film, Bill travels to Marseille to visit his daughter Allison, played by Abigail Breslin. Allison has actually been in prison for the last 4 years because she was found guilty of the murder of her girlfriend. However, to this day she swears that she's innocent. When Bill visits Allison in prison, Allison gives Bill a set of instructions to give to her lawyer, requesting that she reopen the investigation so as to find the person who may actually be responsible for the murder of her girlfriend. However, she doesn't want her dad to get involved. They don't have a good relationship. And Bill, he wasn't exactly a good father to begin with. He is pretty much a textbook example of a screw-up. He is a high school dropout. He got into drugs, alcohol. He's been out of work for a long time, doing all sorts of odd jobs. He never really amounted to anything, and plus he was never really there for his daughter either. Bill takes this as an opportunity to try to kind of redeem himself and try to make up for lost time and try to be the father that he never was to her. So he deliberately disobeys her. He goes around the city of Marseille, and eventually it becomes clear that the guy that he is looking for is clearly involved with the criminal underworld of Marseille. Down the road, he meets this woman played by Camille Cottin, who becomes his translator since Bill is unable to speak French. And the two of them go on this journey to find this guy who may potentially hold the key to Allison's freedom. Now, here's a few things that I liked about this movie. First of all, I loved how the plot unfolds. It acts just like one of Tom McCarthy's other films, Spotlight, sort of like a murder mystery investigation. As we watch Bill go through Marseille talking to people and finding out new things and uncovering all sorts of truths that really help progress the plot, it really keeps you invested, and with every new piece of information that you learn along the way, it becomes more and more interesting as the movie goes along. And not only that, but the romance between Matt Damon's character and Camille Cottin's character, that was very well done. When you first see these two, they couldn't be more different from one another. I mean, Bill is a redneck, and Virginie, I think that's her name, she's a single mom and an actress who is just trying to get by. They actually had really good chemistry together, and over time their friendship kind of blossomed into this romance, and it was really well paced. It really took its time. Virginie is also a single mom, and she has a daughter who actually grows close to Bill as well, and I loved watching these two on screen. There are so many scenes that moved me, like she was teaching him French, he was teaching her English and different American ways, especially their diet, which was funny. Honestly, a lot of the scenes that they had together brought a lot of warmth to this otherwise dark film. But the greatest thing that I feel like this film did was showing how this character remains an outsider throughout the film and how he has to struggle with that during his whole stay in Marseille. I mean, Bill is an American. He doesn't speak the language. He doesn't know anything about French life. And a lot of the people in Marseille constantly remind him of that. And in fact, at times he's even mocked for it, which makes it even more difficult for him to achieve the thing that he wants to do to help his daughter. But going back to the relationship between his character and Camille Cottin's character, Tom McCarthy was able to create a moment in which two very different people from very different cultures could somehow find compatibility when they take the time to get to know one another and really try to understand where the other one is coming from. And I think audiences could benefit a lot, frankly, from watching this kind of film. However, there were a couple of things about this film that I did not like. My number one issue was the soundtrack. Not to say that the music is bad. I think the score is pretty sound. The music just didn't sound the same throughout the film. Because at one point, the music might sound like it's coming from a thriller, and then at other times, it sounds like it's coming from a Nora Ephron romantic comedy. I mean, it feels like the composer couldn't make up its mind. But because this film has a tendency to kind of jump between genres, so does the music. Because at one time, the movie starts out as this family drama, but then it turns into a murder mystery, and then it becomes a romance. I mean, it does flip-flop around at times. And finally, at the end of the film, there is this big reveal that is supposed to be earth-shattering, like it causes Bill's whole world to come crashing down, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. But when that moment finally happens, and then the truth is finally revealed, for some reason, I didn't feel the emotion that I believe I was meant to feel at that moment. And that's because I feel like Allison's storyline becomes completely derailed at a certain point. Like, the movie is no longer about her or her situation. It's more to do with Bill and him restarting a new life for himself in Marseille. And like I said, what plays out in the end does work narratively, but because I felt more invested in Bill, eventually I stopped caring about Allison's character altogether. But still, I think that this is a very decent film, a solid story, great acting, one of the better films that I've seen this year. So I'm gonna give Stillwater a B+. Thank you for watching my video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you again next time.